All right, everybody. We got Talon here alongside me. My name is Crazy Man. We're getting ready to go into the next match here. It's going to be Lethal Gaming versus Malicious Gaming. So, Talon, you want to go ahead and take a look at the teams? Talon?
Hello, hello. Oh, just a simple redo fixes it. Wonderful.
Okay. So now we're ready to go ahead. We're going to start talking about the teams. In case you weren't here before, my name is Crazy Man. I've got Talon here alongside me. So let's take a look at the first team. It's going to be Lethal Gaming. So who do you think is going to be the strong point? Or are they all going to be the strong point on this team?
So on Lethal Gaming, we have Fluffy, Gun Havoc, Chala, Oz, and Throwadox. Of course, Fluffy and Gun Havoc going to be your two fraggers. Oz, I would definitely give him an edge as well. Definitely look out for Gun Havoc. He's kind of one of their big fraggers. I think he usually runs Sledge, so you're definitely going to want to pay attention to him. Him and Fluffy, as well as potentially Oz, are definitely going to be the people you're going to see high up on the scoreboard. Normally, Chala and Throa are going to be the supports. They're going to be, mainly droning. They're going to be helping throwing nades and stuff like that. So usually you'll see them a little bit lower on the scoreboard, a little bit lower for KD, but they are still important to the team nonetheless. Other than that, I think it's a very, very solid lineup. So I guess we'll go on to Malicious.
All right, so there's Malicious up on the board.
So with Malicious, they've achieved Donut, Neptunes, Remorse, and Logic. Remorse in Pro League, Donut and Neptune's definitely not new to the scene. They've been around for a while. Achieved and Logic a little bit newer to the scene, but they've still been there for a while. Remorse again has been playing some of those like fragger roles, so you'll see him, and I believe I want to say Donut on like Ash and Jaeger mains. This sort of setup going on there. So definitely look out for them high up on the scoreboard. I don't know as much about Achieved in Logic as some of the other players tonight. However, as we saw with Nerva versus Guilty, we will be seeing exactly how they perform and getting a little bit of a first impression.
All right, and how even of a matchup do you think these two teams are going to prove to be?
I'm probably going to give the edge to Lethal, honestly, in this matchup. Lethal has been in Pro League. They were in Pro League this season. They did finish in that 7th and 8th place position. However, they are still a very, very strong team. If anyone was going to help contest him, it will be Malicious, though. So definitely don't throw Malicious out of the fight yet. They definitely still have a fighting chance. Remorse in his team will probably be working very hard for this night. So I don't want to throw them out. And I want to see a very, very close matchup between these two.
All right, I think we're all looking forward to a really exciting matchup here. Hoping to see both teams on their best tonight. It should prove to be really exciting matches to watch. So let's go ahead. We should be able to jump into the bands. So
yeah, let's go and grab those bands. I've got it up on my screen. Just let me know when you've got it, and we will go off of that.
I'm ready to go. It looks like we got the first 3 bands already up.
Yep. So first up for Malicious, Bank. Not too surprised there. Again, Bank was also the first ban in the last series we watched. Next up, we have Lethal banning Clubhouse, and then Malicious banning Skyscraper. Interesting that Lethal bans Clubhouse so early on. Maybe they're not as good on it, or maybe they know that Malicious is very good at it. Either way, I would have expected to see Clubhouse a little bit later in the banning lineup. But again, I'm also not surprised at the same time, just because maybe they just wanted to get it out there. We're not doing this. We're not dealing with it. So go ahead and getting it out there right away. Malicious going to go ahead and pick up Skyscraper. Skyscraper and Bank are both very vertical maps, so maybe they're not as comfortable as a team yet. So they want to try to stick to the more linear maps, more comfortable map. I would expect to see like a Border Oregon combo with maybe like a chalet thrown in there, maybe for the third map. We'll have to see it, of course. We do have, we're going to put us the maps. We do have Border, Chalet, Coastline, Consulate, Cafe, and Oregon left. I would definitely expect to see Cafe be banned by Malicious. Again, it's one of those kind of very vertical maps. So maybe go ahead and see the ban Lethal. They might go for Coastline next, and then Malicious might go Cafe. And then from there, they go and they'll start Lethal have one more ban, and then Malicious and Lethal have picks. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if we can get them to continue banning.
Who's waiting on Lethal now? It's their turn to ban a map.
Yeah, we had to tell them to hold up on their banning, make sure we try to do this live as much as possible. Of course, these 3 were already banned when we came in. So let's see. Other than that, Lethal I know is very strong on Cafe, so that's why I'm kind of expecting Malicious to really want to ban it, since they should know that Lethal's good on Cafe if they watch a little bit of the Pro League, or if they know anything about the players who they are facing. Malicious, Remorse, I was kind of surprised that they banned Bank off the start, because I know Remorse is he's okay with Bank, but maybe they just aren't set. It's a very team-heavy map, so I would expect to see them, playing on, get those regular maps like Border. I know Lethal loves Chalet, so they're probably not going to go for a Chalet ban. Malicious might do like a Cafe and Chalet ban. Get them both out of there. If they know that Lethal likes both of those maps, sure, go and get rid of them. Other than that, Lethal, I expect them to go ahead and ban probably Coastline and maybe even Consulate. Coastline, again, just the map isn't really in the meta, really, so you're going to see them, most teams just banning it in the series. One of the other teams are usually going to ban it, even if it's at the very end. So I definitely would say that the banning advantage is towards Lethal. I think they have a little bit bigger of a map pool than Malicious does. Malicious being, of course, the new team, they probably only have a few maps that they're more comfortable with. So I definitely think that Lethal gets the edge here, and that they can go to wherever they want. And if it comes down to a Border, Cafe, Oregon setup, I definitely think Lethal is going to be very happy about those 3 maps. Even if it comes down to any 3 of these 4 maps, so you have Border, Chalet, Cafe, and Oregon. If it comes down to any of those 4, I think that Lethal is really, really going to be happy in the position that they're in. Of course, the only map that I would expect to see like in sort of like upset coming from Malicious would be that Border. Border has become one of those sort of meta maps, as I would like to call them. So it would not surprise me in the slightest to see Malicious trying to pick up a lot more rounds on that map than some of the other maps. But I do I do see that some of the score lines should be, kind of even. I don't expect to see it very lopsided unless it does go to that cafe. I don't think that Malicious would be ready for cafe, but if they are ready for cafe, then that would be a very interesting sight to see. I don't know if we've watched it yet or not. I'd have to go back and look at the history between all of our teams. I believe that there was a cafe in an off stream last time we were live, but I wasn't not exactly quite sure yet.
Yeah, no, I'm
So
not
we'll see
entirely
if we can
sure.
get these. We'll have to see if we can get these two teams into a lobby and get them going, and get these bands going. These guys are getting pretty slow.
Could be debating on what
Yeah,
oh,
they
there comes in a band from Cafe, Lethal, banning Cafe.
Yeah, that actually kind of surprises me that Lethal will go ahead and ban Cafe. I would highly expect Malicious to have banned the Cafe. Maybe Lethal just isn't quite fully set on it yet. I know that they were working on a lot of strategies for Cafe. So seeing them going ahead and banning it instead of Coastline, maybe they're trying to force the Coastline ban um, out from Malicious, because if they're forcing Malicious to do the Coastline ban, then we might be seeing like a Chalet pick coming out from one of them. Looks like up next we have Malicious. Gonna go ahead and ban Coastline. Interesting to see that they're deciding to get rid of. Um, well, honestly, yeah, this is exactly what I was thinking. That Lethal goes and bans Cafe. Malicious was going to go ahead and ban Cafe. However, since Lethal already did it, they went ahead and they banned Coastline. So a little bit flopped around between what I thought would happen. Originally, I called Lethal or banning Coastline. Up next, very interesting. Lethal banning Chalet. Um, honestly, I'm very surprised that they're doing this. Obviously, it's going to be coming down to Border Oregon, and what else do we have left? Border Oregon and Consulate are the remaining maps. Malicious. I'm very surprised that Lethal would ban Chalet. I know that they like Chalet. So the fact that they banned Chalet means that either they know that Malicious likes it, which, to be fair, Malicious does like Chalet. So I would assume that there would have been a pick for Malicious if Chalet was still left in the final three maps. So maybe that's maybe one of the reasons why they wanted to just go ahead and just get rid of it off the start. Other than that, I would have liked to see Malicious just go and ban a map instead of Coastline. Use your last ban on something other than Coastline. Force Lethal to ban Coastline, or just go in and throw it in a toss up. Have it be the tie breaking map. Because again, I don't think I've ever watched a match on Coastline yet. So that would have been certainly interesting to see. But Malicious just trying to play a little bit more cautious, making sure that Lethal doesn't have a Coastline up their sleeves. Going to go ahead and use their last ban on that. So it's up to Malicious' first pick. So this is going to be Malicious's pick between these three maps. Looks like it will be Oregon. Lethal does love Oregon, so they're not too worried about that. So now it's just up between what is it, Consulate and Border. So I would expect to see Border Consulate right there coming out. Nothing too unusual for the bands. Again, I would have expected to see Lethal wanting to play Chalet, but again, Remorse is known for liking Chalet and being decent at it with most of the teams that he's been on. So, of course, wanting to go ahead and get rid of that. It's not too unreasonable that we saw that. So your maps tonight will be map 1, Oregon, map 2 is Border, and map 3, if it comes down to it, will be a Consulate. Alrighty, let's see if we can get these guys into a lobby, and we will get started as soon as possible.
Yep, just waiting on the players to get into the lobby. So while we're getting that set up, what do you think of these maps? Which one are you most excited to see these two teams duking it out on?
Even though Malicious decided to pick Oregon, I think that they're going to be more on the Border side of things. I would have expected Malicious to pick Border and then Lethal to pick Oregon, but it ended up flopped in a different way. Maybe that was to get the certain side. So if Malicious picks Oregon, I believe they get pick of side. So maybe they decided that, hey, we want to get Oregon, so that way we have attack or defense on Border. So it can come down to that. Back to your question, I would expect to see a lot more like better gameplay on Border per se, just because it's another one of those really balanced maps with Oregon and Border. It can really come down to just the 1v1 gunfights at the very end, just how balanced it is. So I would like to see a Border. However, Oregon does have the potential to bring a very close scoreline and a potential for overtime. No, nothing too out of the ordinary. Defense is usually the go-to side for most maps to be playing. So I would highly expect to see them down in Laundry, that basement site coming out. I'd be very surprised if they went kids first. I know a lot of teams like to kind of try to go for that off-site first to try and throw off the attacker. So that is definitely a possibility that we'll see. So we'll have to make sure we pay extra attention to that and how they decide to use that defensive start to their advantage. Other than that, if they do decide to go downstairs, we'll see hopefully a relatively standard take from Malicious, just because I don't think that they shouldn't have anything super special coming up their sleeve. And if they do, it's probably just like a one-off round sort of thing instead of like a round after round. It's probably just going to be like a trick play here and there. Of course, with no band or with Glass band, I highly doubt that we're going to see like a heavy like Montang or shield play. So I really kind of expect to see, get the Habana, get that Capital in there in the lineup on the attack first round. Just to know that, hey, if they do have that mirror on closet, they do have a way to get it open. Force people out of Laundry, pre-drone it, and then go ahead and use those Capital arrows to get people out of Laundry and guarantee you pushing out that smoke or that mirror behind the mirror in the closet downstairs. Other than that, if Lethal that is decides to run a meeting hold, I know sometimes a lot of teams have now decided to try to use like meeting as kind of like a time waster, since like solo roams these days really aren't really working out that great. A lot of teams have learned how to use those drones in combination with the fraggers to get in there and really shut down the solo roams, as we saw on Demon last series earlier tonight. So we've been seeing more of like an extended site hold or more of like a concrete roam hold sort of thing going on, where they just try to hold one room and they try to keep it there as long as possible. So we'll have to see if Lethal does decide, or if any of these two teams do decide to go for a meeting hold. Usually, it is advisable to bring that castle in there. Make sure it's completely sealed off. I mean, both these teams have pro league level players, so I expect to see some very higher or much higher level gameplay than we have been seeing. Um, if anyone's really going to be making mistakes, I'd really expect it to be Malicious, just due to the fact that they probably haven't been together as long. So either way, we should be seeing some pretty good matchups, some pretty standard stuff coming out. I don't expect anything like too crazy or out of the ordinary yet. Maybe again, as a one-off round or as a trick play, we might see something, but that is to be determined.
Yeah, I think it's a little too early in the tournament to really be pulling out some of those tricks that teams might have up their sleeves. I feel like some teams might want to save those for a little bit later on, just to kind of surprise people. So we'll
Yeah, for
see.
sure. This is a 14-week league. So, really making sure you try to hide your best strats until it really, really counts. So that way you get into playoffs and the finals. So hopefully, I do want to see some interesting gameplay. I'm not saying that, hey, let's go and hide every single trip up the book, because this is going to be a huge match for Malicious. If they can bring the win over Lethal in this series, that would be huge. Lethal is definitely one of the more higher contender teams to win overall in the league. So really paying attention to Lethal's record is going to be very, very key. And if Malicious does, if say for example, if they do lose this, I don't know who they're facing next. I'd have to look at the schedule. However, honestly, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal if Malicious does loses, because I do believe a lot of teams will end up losing to Lethal in this sort of sense. So it's not going to be the end of the world. But if Lethal does lose, that's kind of like an upset, and sort of, hey, they kind of started off on a back foot. What are they going to do to try to change this? Looking at these teams, I do think that Malicious is one of these two teams that could potentially bring an upset. So it could be a good night.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what these two teams have to show us. We are still waiting on some of the players to get into the lobby. Shouldn't be too much longer. I'm going to go ahead and cut us to a short break here. We will be right back. Alright, so it looks like the teams are slowly going to be filing into the lobby. We do have an update for the off-stream match. It looks like Core Impact took the win with a 2-0.
Nice, that's good to hear. Good to hear that they were able to successfully go ahead and get through it. As he was saying, we do have all 10 players in the lobby now. I believe the first map is Oregon, so once both teams are ready, we will go ahead and get started.
Alright. And it looks like teams are not just about ready.
Chala disappeared mid-sentence. Well, that's not good. Could potentially see him crash out of the lobby. We'll see exactly.
Crashing is always exciting.
Well, he probably, it's probably going to be a couple more minutes. Only 16 minutes left till the lobby crashes out, so hopefully...
Should be within that time.
Do that.
So once we have word from Chala, we'll know if we're ready to get going.
Alright, looks like Lethal is now ready. So as long as Malicious is ready, we should get started.
Alright, so it looks like it's ready coming in from both teams. So let's go ahead. Let's get ready to jump into the first map. Our first map of the night is going to be Oregon.
Alright, here we go.
There's no game sounds. That's a problem.
Yeah, go and make sure you also set over your stream to be the Rainbow Six capture, just so that you can actually watch it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not that new to this, okay?
Oh, we never know.
Fair enough.
I'm just teasing you. Alright, so coming up, operators on attack. We have Sledge, Habana, Blackbeard, Ash, and Capital. Nothing too out of ordinary there. On defense, we have Pulse, Bandit, Smoke, Doc, and Jaeger. Interesting to see the Doc. You know, normally most teams won't be playing at Doc, so no Castle, no Mira. Interesting lineup coming out. We might be seeing something a little bit different. Of course, we are playing kids' dorms. You know, just as I was saying kind of before, we might be seeing a little bit of, skirting around the edges and trying to play those offsites first, as it looks to be exactly what will be happening. Oh, well, that's exactly why. Interesting to see no Mira, though. A lot of teams will still play the Mira on this upper site, you know, maybe put it over at Master or something like that. But it looks like to be just a regular bridge hold, sort of. They should be opening up bridge. They did with the shotgun. I'm not sure where the Pulse is going to play. Maybe it's going to be a kitchen hold, so we might see Pulse underneath kids in kitchen. You know, going ahead, getting ready for that C4 to go ahead and throw up. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how they decide to apply that. Bandit going to go ahead and finish reinforcing small dorms. Not sure if he ended up putting any batteries on that. Looks like they did fully reinforce, or they did fully barbed wire up white. They will be using those batteries on the back of bridge. Smart if they definitely want to keep someone up there for sure. Use that as a rotation and a defensive strong point.
Alright, so we're jumping into the first round. It's holding up kids' dorm. The attackers are moving in over from construction site. Achieved is getting ready. They're gonna make sure that this tall tower is clear, because you want to make sure that nobody's gonna be in this tower while you're on the roof of the other building if you're trying to go in from that rooftop. It's a really good angle for them to hold against you, and they can take you out before you even realize it. So they're making sure the top of the tall tower is clear. It looks like defense is just kind of playing a little passively for now. Look like Pulse might have spotted somebody over here. But Ash is right there ready. Blows up the wall right next to Pulse. Pulse is just going to hold tight here. He wants to be able to make sure he can get some picks there. It looks like he's going to fall back. He took a little bit of damage. He's at about less than half health. So that could be really bad for him. It looks like it's a good idea for him to fall back, though. Make sure that he stays alive. Capitao taking a little bit of damage over here.
Yeah, no, definitely agree there. Pulse playing very aggressive. He was playing very aggressive, trying to get a cheeky kill over there in classroom. You know, maybe an attacker would have rushed in without fully droning, but looks like they did drone properly. They used the Ash. Unfortunately, Ash wasn't able to hold the angle, and so he was able to escape upstairs. Very surprised we're not going to see him in kitchen. A lot of people will play that Pulse in kitchen, wait for someone to try to hop in the kids' windows. That seems to be the current hard counter for a kids' windows take. But instead, he's kind of sitting here Master, doing kind of the same thing. Waiting for someone to go and try and just throw a drone in or miss drone or not realize that he's in here.
It looks like Achieved is getting a little risky there. He's really close. The drone is going to go in. He's not going to spot the pulse out. Now he spots the pulse out. Fluffy goes for the move, but Achieved starts to hit him, but Fluffy gets the kill onto Achieved, and then he gets picked off, traded off immediately. However, off-screen, Gun Havoc didn't get a kill on a Remorse. So the attackers kind of keeping it a little balanced, not too much. It is now a 3v4. It's in favor of Lethal. And the Doc did use one of his stims to heal up Fluffy after that initial damage. It looks like he's going to charge himself up here. He knows the attackers are shooting at him. He wants to try to take some damage on them, maybe get a couple picks off. And by healing himself up, overhealing himself with the stim pistol, he gives himself a really nice advantage to have there. However, Neptunes is moving in over alongside the attic window. He's going to spot him but not shoot. Now he takes him out. Nice headshot on a Gun Havoc there. It's now down to a 2v3. And the attacker's going to have to move in, but Chala gets a nice kill on a Snooper. Ash is going to have to run in right in through that hole, but she's going to get picked off immediately. They're holding that angle, not letting anyone in. That's the diffuser down, and there goes the round. Throw with a triple at the end there, finishing up the round. I didn't think that it was going to go in favor of Lethal. They did get picked down to a 2v3, but they just had to hold tight on their angles, and they did really well at that.
And I agree with that, especially, that pulse pick. I'm very surprised that they didn't pre-drone Master earlier to realize, hey, that pulse played a cheeky position once in Classroom. He very well could be in Master playing cheeky again. And of course, yes, he was doing that. I believe, who was it on Sled? Achieved on Sledge did throw a nade. Not sure if that maybe went to the other side of the bed. I was for sure when I saw him cooking that nade, they realized that he was there, but suddenly, Fluffy was able to just run across, get the pick on one, but then was traded back immediately before he can get the nitro off. Off screen, I believe it was Gun Havoc was able to pick up another one. I'm not exactly sure who that was, so that immediately brought it back down. Unfortunately, they took a little bit too long a time trying to get that setup in, so they ended up trying to attack with about 20 seconds left. And as everyone knows, trying to attack with about 20 seconds left doesn't exactly work out the best for the attackers, especially when you have a bandit on on white stairs. Excuse me. Otherwise, again, we'll be seeing another kids' dorms and or another kids' dorms hold. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Again, not another Mira. We do have a pulse again. We'll see if Neptune's decided to play it a little differently. Maybe it can, or maybe we'll finally see someone down in kids. We'll see how it looks like. Reinforcements are pretty standard. Nothing too crazy. Operators, again, nothing too crazy. Looks to be a Rook instead of a Doc. I definitely agree with this because playing that Doc in Bridge, while it does have its merits against the grenades and being able to hear the pulse if he rotates back up a little bit damaged, having that Rook is definitely a little bit more useful for the other three members that aren't going to be able to be, healed or whatever. So that way everyone gets the benefit from that Rook armor. Other than that, Rook playing the same place as we saw Doc playing in that bridge. Looks like there was Oz going into Big Tower. We do also have a roam down in basement by Bandit. This seems to be a very aggressive, in my opinion, that they are deciding to do this. A little bit of droning coming out. So we'll see how they decide to take it.
Yeah, it looks like Oz wants to try to get inside of the attic there, make sure that that's all cleared out. That'll give him a very nice angle to hold against the defenders, because then it limits the defenders to two different spots or two different angles that they can really rotate back in through. And stopping those roamers, if you don't take out those roamers, you're going to want to be able to stop them. But we did notice Gun get picked off, and Donut gets a kill on the throw there too. Smoke taking a little bit of damage here, kind of staying back, playing it a little safe, opening up some holes. Shala might have... Seems like they know where Smoke is. They're going to want to try to take him out because Smoke can really stop them from pushing in. And you want to get that Smoke gone so that you're able to take it on the site and get the plant down.
Oh, for sure. With a minute and 20 left, it's already a 3-on-3. The Blackbeard is very, very low. I would definitely put the advantage towards the defenders in this sort of situation. They still have a roamer that they haven't quite figured out how to flush out. They still have that Smoke, although on low health, as well as the bandit that's running around. So I would definitely, it looks like we're seeing a little bit of an initiate coming from the Capital. I'm not sure if he will be jumping in. So
Looks
we'll
like
see if
he
they
is.
are able to hold it.
Oh, and Fluffy actually takes out Remorse with his fire dart there. Achieved getting a pick on a lethal. So there's now one roamer and one anchor. It looks like Achieve might be heading up to short tower. He wants to check that window, make sure that's clear. Chala just kind of holding, looking for the roamer still. Fluffy is on site, watching for the roamer to come back to the site. Get a pick off of white stairs as they return. Donut still holding tight over here. Achieved also still staying away. He's not coming back on the site yet. Chala has the diffuser. He's moved back on the site. He's getting the plant down. So the plant's going down now. And now you see Achieved is going to start heading back towards site. Donut getting a double down. So Donut and Fluffy are both down now. Achieved just has to kind of push back up. He doesn't get the pick on the Blackbeard. Chala takes him out. Finishes up the round. Round 2 going to lethal.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty lucky peak there coming out from Blackbeard right at the very end. You know, honestly, Chala should have been able to finish that out there. You know, even with the double down in kids. I think there's a little bit of a misplay of where that diffuser was, especially towards the end there. Fluffy ended up in kids for so long that honestly, one Valcam that if there was not a Valcam, but if there was one, they would have realized, you know, hey, we can just shoot him through the floor. Honestly, you know, get him to move around. Quite unfortunate that there was a double down. I'm sure both players are pretty frustrated about that. However, it still came out with lethal taking the round. Moving on to the next round, looks like we will be seeing a meeting hold with the castle. So a little bit of a switch up. Of course, should be now down on the downstairs site. Yes, we are. So we should be seeing a castle meeting hold for lethal. Not exactly sure how Malicious decides to try to take this. They do have that sledge to get rid of the castle. They do have the ash, so they can help get rid of some of the reinforcements and barricades for the castle. It's kind of a toss-up, though. You know, do they want to go up and try and sledge it up close, or do they want to try to use the nades? And if they use the nades, you know, you still have the barbed wire probably on main stairs. There will be a Mira on defense as well, so we could be seeing potentially a Mira putting down right where he is now on that wall towards garage. That is a pretty standard spot. Other than that, looks like everything else in meetings reinforced. Not sure what they did about bridge, so that could be a potential weak spot if the 4 walls up in bridge aren't quite reinforced. As if they aren't, you know, the attackers can take, you know, the top advantage and go from there. So we'll see. I believe Lethal actually has a little bit of a roam, or Fluffy's playing a little bit more aggressive going up white stairs right now. I believe this has been seen out by the drones, or at least, you know, they have an idea of it. So I'm not sure exactly what his plan is to try to get back into sight or onto it, and how it's going to be punished.
And he gets picked off by Achieve there. And there it is. You were talking about it earlier, the drone push with a player actually moving up with the drone. And that's just what they did. It was perfect teamwork, and Achieve got the nice kill on a Fluffy there, shutting it down. Donut is going to be starting to move up a little bit, playing a little bit more aggressive. It looks like Achieve is sending his drone in. He spots out... Was that Oz? Yeah, Oz gets spotted out, so they know where he is now. Achieve going to be watching for that angle. They don't want to get peeked from there. It looks like they might be trying to isolate Meeting Hall instead of pushing in from behind. All the attackers are moving in from the front. And it looks like Throw is playing up in the attic, actually, right now. He's got a nice little angle there, watching towards where Donut is. He might have the info on where Donut is, and that's probably why he's holding that angle. But it is still very much a Meeting Hall hold right now, with Chala being the only one that's actually on site. Snooper's going to be sending his drone around right now. Remorse with a nice kill on the Gun Havoc there, bringing it down to a 3v5. And Donut getting another kill onto Oz. Is now a 2v5. Finally, a trade back. Throw gets taken out. Or no, Throw takes out Achieve. Sorry about that. It looks like the attackers are getting ready to push in. They're trying to open up that mirror window, but Chala spots him out. Starts shooting at Snooper. Snooper does blow up a couple of bound charges. Did not get the mirror window, though, so that's a really nice advantage for Chala to still have. Looks like they're going to start moving down the stairwell. Blackbeard is going to be peeking around first. He's going to be using his shield. He wants to try to take his advantage and get a nice peek here. Take out Chala if he can. But Chala is going to toss a canister and flush the attackers out from that stairwell. Meanwhile, Throw is still up here in the attic. The attackers might be trying to hold off a meeting room rotate. Remorse pushing into sight. Snooper is getting the plant down. Chala is still trying to hold tight. He tosses a smoke canister, but it's not going to do anything. Snooper gets a nice plant up there, and it's a 4v2. Throw really has to make a massive move here. He has to get a couple kills because Chala just got taken out by Remorse, and down goes Throw. Donut just sitting there holding the angle, takes him out. They knew Throw was still in meeting hall, and they shut down that rotate really quick.
Yep, that was a good round, good first round for Malicious. That should bring the scoreboard to 2-1. Honestly, that was kind of sloppy coming out from Lethal. You know, Fluffy really going on that solo roam, and I don't think we've seen a single solo roam work tonight. I think we saw one kind of work on Clubhouse. I believe Demon was able to play up in Garage. However, again, you know, time and time again, we see these solo roams just getting shut down so quickly because of these drones getting droned out, not properly holding something. He ended up just running right into kitchen and just getting punished for it. So that really started Lethal out on the back foot there. So interesting to see that, you know, he was deciding to play a little bit more aggressive there. Maybe he didn't think that, you know, he would be able to, or he thought he was going to be able to, you know, try to go one-on-one, try to aim duel them. But that is simply not the case. Remember, these are, you know, pretty good players. Malicious is definitely not something to go and, you know, just, you know, laugh at. You know, you definitely need to be paying attention to what you're doing. They are a good matchup. So I think that being a little bit too aggressive there. Other than that, Malicious did a very fine job of slowly picking off the people that were trying to be holding meeting. I'm surprised we didn't see the castle walls really come into effect up in the meeting. I think those castle walls were used in basement. So instead of really us seeing like the normal standard meeting hold with the castles, we ended up just seeing the castles being put downstairs, and there's still these lines of sights that usually the castles would block off, you know, namely, you know, that double wide door coming from front door, normally that's castled off, and usually the single door going to big towers castled off to really help deny those angles. I don't think we really saw that the same way as we normally do with other teams. So I would have definitely liked Lethal to change up exactly how they do it. Meanwhile, we do have Donut the Bandit playing downstairs once again, or GIGN getting flashed out and probably going to get naded out in bridge.
Yeah, and the attackers are moving a little bit slower here. They're taking the round. It is another kids dorm hold coming in from... I can't think of their team name right now. Sorry about that. But it is another kids dorm hold coming in. And we do see Chala holding an angle right now. He's trying to get a couple of picks. They did take out the Rook there. We did miss that kill. Achieved is still hanging out in the attic up here. They were trying to flush him out earlier. Oz does have that hole opened up there. Bandit's playing inside a meeting hall. I think Oz knows that Bandit could come up on him. He wants to be really careful because he could have two angles open up at him. Guns gets a pick on a Lethal. Gun gets a kill on Elite. Tripping over myself now. Donut with a kill onto Oz. He gets traded back by Throw. Throw's going to be coming up, and he's swinging right into the site. It is a 4v2, so the attackers definitely have a major man advantage here. Achieved gets taken out, and Fluffy kills off Neptune, the round ending. That was a really fast attack phase. Like they took their time getting set up, but the second they started getting the picks, they just rushed in and they just took him out, and it was really beautiful shots coming in from Lethal there.
Yeah, certainly. It was very, you know, well coordinated. I think the only thing that kind of went wrong for them is that Oz kind of got picked off in Big Tower, so they didn't quite have that backstay of the attack. However, you don't really need the backstay to stay strong, and so they were able to just make these picks after picks. They ended up hopping, and they saw an opening. They hopped into kids, and they got right into it, honestly. Of course, you have the Blackbeard on a big window that splits the two sites in half, and so once you get everyone out of kids, as they did, you know, just hop right in there, go for the plant, get the frags, which is what ended up happening. So very strong attack there onto kids. That brings the scoreline to 3-1. Well, it's just definitely on the back foot here, so we'll have to see if they decide to switch anything up. I think that they were kind of playing a little bit aggressive on that bridge, honestly, Malicious was. So we'll see if they decide to, you know, bring it back into the site, or if they decide to try and play maybe like downstairs a little bit more. play in that kitchen and dining area. Really, try to slow them down, because that's twice now that Lethal has just hopped into kids, and there has been no counter to that. So they really need either a pulse below or someone C4 with C4 below, and then have like a Valkyrie cam up there. Try to get that information, because I don't think that they're running that Thatcher to really get rid of that sort of stuff. So I think they really need to be playing more for denying the kids take instead of denying the small dorms take. They did heavy against the small dorms, but not really against the kids. And since they've neglected that twice now in a row, if they do decide to go back there, they need to change something up. Hopefully we will see them hopefully bring back this round and then either go back there or even potentially switch it up and go downstairs. Either option is definitely worth it. So there's no wrong answer there if they decide to switch up or not. But they need to do something different if they're going to go back upstairs.
Yeah, hopefully they'll change it up a little bit. We're going into round 5 now. It is 3-1 in favor of Lethal. Donut is pushed into an armory really early here. It'll be nice to have that hold there, because they'll be able to deny, defenders that try to rotate back in from main lobby. Throw is going to be playing on site. Do they have any roamers? Gun Havoc with a very risky peek there. He could have gotten picked off pretty early there. The Twitch was just about to round the corner. Nothing overly surprising here. It looks like Fluffy is going to be floating around down below right now. He's not going to be able to spot anybody over there, but he's going to give his team that info. However, there is a Blackbeard directly above him that he did not spot on his scanner there. It looks like Snooper is going to be grabbing the diffuser, probably heading in from main lobby.
Yeah,
flushing out that corner
Pulse is playing a little bit too aggressive. He's probably going to get punished for it, honestly, if they get properly droned out. I mean, this is a very awkward spot to be playing, but he definitely should be able to, get droned out, and they should be able to do something about this. However, I don't think they've realized that he's down there yet.
No, I don't think they do, and they're not really paying too much attention over there anyways. They're just kind of making sure that he doesn't run outside. Throw gets a kill on the Neptunes there. Doc climbing up the ladder gets picked off. Fluffy does get a kill onto Remorse. It looks like Remorse was trying to push down around alone there. He did get punished for it. It is a 3v4 in favor of the defense, actually. Snooper just kind of holding out over here. He's getting ready to open up this wall. Oh, they're opening up the floor, so they knew the bandit was going to go ahead and try to trick that, and they were flushing him out of there as soon as they could. Very patient play there from Malicious. Donut's running up the stairs right now. He's going to be looking down the hallway. Fluffy looks like he might be able to punish Achieved. However, Chala does get a kill onto Snoopa. Oz gets taken out by Achieved, and now Fluffy's going to move in. He's going to get the trade-off. So Achieved did take out Oz, but Fluffy came right back in, traded it off, and then Throw finished up the round by taking out Donut. Ooh. That is a cheeky angle there. That was really nice.
Certainly, for sure. I think Malicious is honestly, they're missing some of the basics right here. As you saw towards the end, Fluffy was able to, push that sledge, from behind. However, the camera was still up, honestly. So that tells me, hey, they didn't really drone anything there. They didn't really even try and take control of that dining and small tower and bathrooms side of the map. So when you don't do that, and you try to push a Blackbeard of all people in there, that's really a bad sign. That's saying, hey, they're kind of misorganized, and they don't know exactly what they need to be doing, because there's no reason for the Blackbeard to be pushing in like that. He needs to just be sitting holding a window, let someone like the Ash or like a Sledge do something like that, and then make sure they are getting droned in. Because if you're just going in there with no eyes, if you're not properly killing the roamers and you don't have that information on site, then hey, you're going to get punished for it. Even a quick drone, coming from any of them saying, hey, all right, they have 3 on site, we're missing 2, and they go, okay, well then they must be somewhere. You don't just go running into dining and get picked off for it.
Yeah, and they should have even known Fluffy.
Slow down.
They should have even known Fluffy was there, because he did get the pick onto Blackbeard earlier in the round.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what I'm talking about. I mean they know that Pulse has been roaming all game, so you know why would this round be any different, honestly? So
Yeah.
definitely a little bit of letting it get to their heads. They really need to stay focused and stay calm through this, and say, hey, all right, let's get back to the basics. Make sure we're droning into each other. Make sure that we're chasing those drones, so that way we know that we're safe at what we're doing, and we know that what we're doing is the right thing to do. Either way, we're 30 seconds into this round. Nothing too crazy. It looks to be a meeting hold with a Mira this time. They will have the reinforcements on bridge, so they shouldn't be too pressured from there. Achieved. Looks like he's trying to solo hold bridge for now. I highly disagree with all this peeking that he's doing, but no big deal there. On the other side of the map, we do have Blackbeard. Once they get that hatch open, that Blackbeard can be a menace, as a lot of teams learned.
Yeah.
See.
Guns was trying to clear out the entirety of the top floor. Oh, Donut just walks up behind him. Gun gets taken out by the roaming bandit. He was surrounded on both sides, though. I believe they had somebody else in the attic there that was holding it off. Neptune picks off Chala, so the Blackbeard is out of the count, so they don't have that advantage as much while peeking there. Neptune's is going to be spotted in meeting hall. Throw is going to try to take him out. He's just going to put in some damage and then kind of fall back. Achieved holding a nice tight angle here, so if they try to push into meeting hall, they're going to be shut down the second they try to move in, and it is a 5v3. None of the defenders have gone down yet. Remorse holding down the double mirror down here. He spots the drone. He's keeping an eye on the hatch, making sure he knows. Achieved gets a double kill there, and the diffuser is down, so now they just kind of have to hold the diffuser because it's Throw that's left alone. He has to try to come back. And I'm not sure he's going to be able to, but who knows? This could be something amazing being pulled off right now. Achieve does have a very nice angle onto the diffuser. Neptune's going to get spotted, and he's going to get downed. Achieved is going to come around, and he's just going to shut down Throw. He takes the intel, takes advantage of it, and finishes up the round. So it was a change-up that gave them the round this time.
Yeah, for sure. I think Lethal didn't really properly cover those rotates around. I don't think there was an initial roam. I know that they did have the Jaeger up in bridge, and so I guess they knew that, and then they started pushing that bridge super hard. But then they didn't really have any way to cover their flanks, and so when Bandit just kind of ran up the back stairs and got the free pick onto Gun Havoc, that kind of signaled around that it wasn't really going too well for them. So they need to be a little bit more cautious with their drones. Maybe set up some pre-drones somewhere. Make sure they're not getting flanked, or make sure someone's at least watching it, so that way they can go and take care of the roamers without any more roamers coming up and trying to assist them. So that's definitely going to be key for them. Looks like we have a little bit of a switch up here. I know Fluffy was playing Castle before, but now it is Gun Havoc. Can't quite tell what Fluffy has switched to.
Mira.
They are bringing the Mira again. Yeah, so I guess there's a little bit of a switch up in the operator lineup. Not sure if it was a mistake for round one, or if this is just they decided they're more comfortable this way, but interesting to see nonetheless.
And it looks like they are going to be putting a lot of emphasis on holding the meeting hall here once again. They do have reinforcements. They have that mirror window towards the garage again. 3 people inside of meeting hall right now. Probably going to see that change up a little bit. The attackers are just going to start moving in, opening up doors, windows, droning it out before they start moving in.
Yeah, of course. Again, we haven't really seen those castles, those in the double wide doors as we've been looking to see out of a lot of other teams. So I'm not exactly sure why or what the reasoning is behind the castles not being put on that double wide door that Oz is looking through right now. That is a super huge angle that needs to be cut off. Get one person in bathroom hallway, and that'll really pin Oz down. And so making sure you're really forcing out the usage of some of that utility can be very, very key to trying to dwindle down the attacker's ability to take a site. Because if you use so much utility trying to get into meeting, then all of a sudden you can't really take out the barbed wire, and that slows the whole attack down. And when it comes down to 40, 30, 20 seconds, that can be a really, really key factor in winning a round or not. So I definitely would have liked to have seen at least that castle put there, maybe a castle put on the back door as well, that Fluffy is currently looking at, but they have decided, hey, we just want to try and aim duel the heck out of it.
Yeah, and it looks like the drone is going to be spotting out Oz holding holding up in meeting hall. Neptune's going to be really careful about that. They are taking control of the top floor. Throw almost gets picked off by Donut, but Donut misses his shots there before he's able to get them off. Gun did get picked off at some point. We did miss that kill. Donut is really trying to flush throws out of the attic there. And that was a little odd. And there comes the hole. Throw is going to get spotted out. Donut getting a nice kill onto Throw there, cleaning out the attic, actually. They're going to be able to start taking meeting hall. Doesn't look like anybody but Oz is kind of holding in there still. Oz gets a pick and then immediately gets traded off. Donut taking full control of meeting hall. It's now a 2v4. Fluffy could be in a good position to get a kill there. Donut backing against the bandit wall, taking a little bit of damage there. Just a teeny tiny bit. Taking out the drone immediately. It's good. You don't want to give him any of that intel. It looks like the attackers are starting to move down the stairwell. Achieved is going to be the one leading the push here. He's going to push in immediately. He's jumping up onto there to try to get that plant. And the smoke lands just shy. Oh no, it's giving him damage while he's planting. He gets downed. Achieved gets downed while he's trying to plant. He gets finished off by Chala with another smoke. Donut getting picked off. Now it's a 2v2 again. And Lethal could be able to... And they stopped the plant and Lethal finishing up the round. It was not looking good for Lethal there, but that 2v4 in the end, they just... Chala with those smoke canisters. That was incredible.
Yeah, it was a very, very solid 2v4. I think a lot of people underestimate the defender's ability to 2v4, so definitely want to, remain calm in those situations, make sure you're not doing anything too crazy. And again, it really came down to that utility. They didn't really get rid of that barbed wire, and they let the smoke, able to smoke him down at the last second. So looking at the scoreboard, we have Chala and Throwadox actually, as well as Fluffy, really leading the charge there. And then only a couple of players on the Malicious side really had anything in terms of kills. So other than that, it was a really, really good game for Lethal. And are we going to have a little bit of a break before we go into the next map?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break here. If the game decides to let me actually do anything. Seems like my computer's bugging out a little bit here. All right, here we go. Oh, that's why. Okay, so Siege just crashed on me. I'm going to have to go ahead and get the lobby started back up. So we'll be back shortly. There is going to be a short break here. We'll be back with Lethal versus Malicious.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright, it looks like our player's getting back into the lobby, and we are just about ready to launch into the second map. It is going to be Border between Malicious Gaming and Lethal. Thank you, OBS, for designing to cooperate. Let's go ahead and check if the teams are ready. Alright, it looks like both teams are ready, so let's go ahead and jump into the second map. Lethal Gaming did take the first match. Okay, yeah. For a second, it looked like the overlay was not updated correctly.
Yep, the first map did go to Lethal 5-1. If anything, Border is kind of the map that I expect to be like the turnaround map. This is kind of the map that Malicious is probably going to be doing a little bit better at. Of course, the scoreline was 5-2, so hopefully we'll see a 5-3 or above. I still give the edge to Lethal, though, even though I keep saying that this is Malicious's time to shine. You know, don't count Lethal out. This is definitely Lethal's map for sure. Of course, they did pick it, so I definitely would like to see Malicious do a little bit better. I think this is the more meta map and more standard map for them, so I totally, fully expect them to be more prepared on this.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we are seeing Armory and Archives coming up as the first bomb site. It's kind of a typical setup here.
Yep, nothing too out of the ordinary. We do have the Buck on attack, so he'll probably go underneath and take out that anyone that's in those locker areas, maybe even in blue corner. Of course, you can shoot that Buck up from the vents workshop window, so that's kind of like a free way to make sure no one's in that blue corner. So I definitely agree with bringing the Buck. Of course, the Blackbeard, definitely good. Put him up on AC unit. He can do tons and tons of damage there, so that'll be really good. Yay, coming out from Fluffy. Sweet.
He's really excited to start this one up.
Mirror play.
Looks like there is no sound again.
Too out of the ordinary.
What is
we'll see where they decide to use those mirrors. Something tells me that they're probably going to want to put one in a small office and maybe even in Fountain. That seems to be the pretty standard spot. Maybe another alternate spot is either on Box or even in Archives itself. I know that Box spot with Smoke there, or Morse, that could be a very, very strong spot if they do decide to use the mirror there. Looks like they do have the reinforcement set up for the small office mirror, so I do think we will be seeing something there. Yep, there it goes. Go ahead and place that. Not sure exactly where they're going to put the second one, but we will see.
Yeah, they're opening up a bit of the walls over by Armory there. They're going to want to watch for people's feet there. Gotta pick them out. Looks like nobody really in position to roam yet. We do have some defense coming in over by Fountain. The attackers are going to start moving in now.
Yeah, it looks like the attackers are going to be setting up for an office take, so they're probably all going to focus on taking that office control. Make sure you get, looks like the Buck's going to go underneath, and once you have office control, you can really start working your way in and start, checking the angles one by one, making sure that Blackbeard's up on AC unit, and just, slowly push your way in. Very methodical. It's going to take a lot of time, but if they do it right, it doesn't really matter, because there's really no way that the smoke, if done properly, can really deny you that control.
Yeah, it looks like Donut
missing the timing though.
Yeah, Donut was moving in. He knew that Buck was there trying to flush out Neptune's up top. He moved in just a little bit shy of the Buck being there. Chala did get picked off. Looks like Gun's going to be tossing a grenade in there. He's going to try to flush them out of different angles. Maybe just open up that window. There was a drone in there. Remorse spotted it. Took it out though, denying a little bit of the intel to Lethal. Fluffy with a kill on Donuts there, so the roamers are down. I don't believe they have anybody else roaming. It looks like they are getting ready to push into Archives here. Buck sitting tight on the window. Offices is being taken by Throw. He knows, he sees him and he takes him out. There we go. Throw, picking off achieved inside of Fountains. It's now a 3v4. Oz getting Remorse. Oz getting a double. Neptune going down as well, and it's all left down to Snooper. The bomb is going to go down, or the diffuser is going to go down. Apologies. Oz cleaning it up with a nice triple at the end there. He had almost no health, but he's still able to clean up the round for Lethal. Round one going to Lethal.
Now, it's very interesting that Lethal was still able to go ahead and win that. The Blackbeard did get picked up as he was trying to get up onto his AC perch. They likely had a Valcam out there waiting for that ladder climb up onto the bus. That is a super exposed position. So just wait for the Blackbeard to go ahead and climb up the bus and then peek them from the armory window, which looks like happened coming out from, I believe, Remorse got that pickup there. So a very huge start coming out for Malicious. So being able to get rid of that Blackbeard, that's definitely a huge way. But then all of a sudden, Oz kind of came out there with Habana, really opened up that site wide open. Not exactly sure how they managed to fall. Just losing your aim duels, one-on-ones, maybe peeking a little bit just too much. So now they kind of realize, okay, so they like to go for those office pushes. So next time they defend there, they should know exactly what to expect.
Right, and we are going to see Armory and Archives coming up from Lethal here. And they are going to be reinforcing both of those exterior walls there. It's a little bit of a different hold for Malicious. It looks like Fluffy getting in position to roam a little bit earlier too. The roamer on Malicious got in position really late there. Wasn't able to pick anybody off or do anything too important.
10 seconds to insertion.
So getting that early roamer in position could be a huge advantage for Lethal.
Yeah, so far they do have the drone set up kind of around security area, kind of around. So it looks like they should be going for maybe like an office and security split. They do have Remorse on Blackbeard already shooting open Archives door, so that could tell you otherwise that, hey, they very well could be going for another office push, and that they just spawned one over to the west just by accident. Of course, you do have Pulse over here in customs. Not exactly sure. He's just making sure, hey guys, I'm not seeing anyone in security, so that kind of tells us, all right, they're going for an office. They can start rotating around, maybe get that Pulse in bathrooms, get them underneath office, and so that way, you can really start, applying more pressure to those attackers in a way that they might not be ready for.
Yeah, and that was a close call there. Achieved almost getting a pick onto Oz there. He noticed the window was open. He went to peek it. Donuts gets a pick onto Fluffy. The roamer is down. So now they could get the intel. They could know everyone else is left on site, so they're going to want to start flushing them out of different angles. Remorse gets a pick onto Oz. He's downed. Oz is down, so they could try to finish him off. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to. He does crawl to safety. He's probably going to get picked up, and it is a 5v3 in favor of now it's down to a... No, it's in favor of Malicious. Sorry about that. Tripping over myself again. So it is a 5v3 in favor of Malicious. So far, a pretty clean attack round coming in. They're working hard. They're flushing him out of those angles. They're taking out the roamers early. Chala getting tagged up by Blackbeard here as he's trying to cross. Throw is going to be hanging out inside of offices. He does notice someone outside, but he's not able to take advantage of that. He's just going to hold tight here. Snooper could be moving in behind him. They do have the door for Archives opened up. Neptunes looks like they might be pushing into Archives pretty soon. There's a gunfight going out. Throw still hanging out inside of offices. He's making sure nobody's pushing in through there. He is going to spot out Achieved. Achieved might know that the mirror is there, but he's not going to be able to counter it just yet. Neptunes pushes in, gets picked off by Chala. Gun takes out Snooper. Remorse still hanging out over here. He's trying to get the pick on Chala. Gun getting another kill, and it's now... It went from a 5v3 down to a 3v2. And it is back in favor of Lethal. Gun putting in quite a bit of work. Throw taking out Achieved. Lethal definitely getting a really nice comeback there. Chala with a smoke canister taking out Remorse to end the round. So that was definitely an impressive hold there in the end, coming in from Malicious. Lethal had the advantage. Or no. I just got everything backwards.
No, you're right. Lethal was down. It was Lethal that was down.
Yeah, Lethal was down 3 to 5.
I think it was. So the fact that they were actually able to pull back there in office really kind of shows something about that office hole that they have. They did have that mirror on the single office wall that faces the triple wall, and they went ahead and they shotgunned that whole triple wall open. That really kind of put the attackers off guard because they don't exactly know how to deal with something like that. They didn't have a Bucker anywhere, and Ash go underneath to try to flush someone out. They didn't have any nades coming in for that, so they never actually got control of that office. They started off really well. They got the 2 picks on the roamers. They had Fluffy the Pulse underneath. They ended up getting that pick, but then after that, their momentum just kind of died. They had such a strong attack. It was 5v3. You could have almost bodied your way into someplace like Pillbox or something like that, but instead they just kind of tried to body their way into Archives and Office, which obviously if it's like 2 minutes into the round, you still haven't taken control of that. It's pretty obvious that hey, there's something that's not working here. We should have already had this control. It should really only take about a minute to really get up to the building, work your way in, get your drones in there, take control of East Stairs, but instead they just they got the 2 picks. One was from the window, and then one they just sent in. They got Fluffy underneath, but then after that they just didn't know exactly how they needed to attack. And unfortunately, I think that's kind of due to the age of this team. I don't think that this team has been around for very, very long, so they might not have the coordination to know how to go through every single setup. Ooh, a little bit of bullets flying out from Donut. We should see him go ahead and fall back there.
Donut
a little bit
getting
of
in some
damage going on the Thermite.
Yeah, some really good damage going in on the Thermite there. And like I said last time, they didn't have really those early roams, but now they were in position early. Achieve getting a pick on Oz, but then he gets downed by Chala. Donut as well, both downed. Both the roamers down. They're going to get picked off now. Chala taking out Donut. Achieved is still down, but it doesn't look like any of his teammates are really going to be in position to pick him up. So it is a 4v4. More than likely going to be a 4v3 in a second. Thermite putting a charge up on a soft wall. I guess sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Neptunes comes in and takes out Gun. So it is a 4v3. Achieved is still down. Not sure if he's going to be getting picked up by his teammates. Chala gets downed. He's going to try to crawl to safety. He wants to make sure he's able to get picked up by his teammates. Achieved still down as well, but it is a 3v2 essentially right here. Chala getting picked up, putting it back to a 3v3. Remorse hears it. He's going for a really, really aggressive push there. He takes out Chala and Throw. Achieved finally dies out, but Remorse with a really aggressive dropout there. He heard him getting picked up, and he just pushed out. He was ready for it, and he made sure that they were not able to get away from there. A really impressive play coming in from Remorse there. It looks like it's going to be Fluffy left to try to close out the round. He's shooting at a reinforced wall. Could be distracting them. Who knows? He's pushing over through security, and he's pushing outside. This wall is opened up, so he's going to try to push in there. I do believe Snooper just spotted him there. So he's going to try pushing into Armory now. Snooper's going to start to wallbang him. Remorse gets in position. And it's a trade at the end. Remorse with a headshot on the Fluffy. Fluffy with a headshot on Remorse. Remorse with a triple at the end of the round there.
Yeah, very, very heads-up play coming out of Remorse, realizing, hey, we down the Blackbeard being such an important operator, they will go for that revive eventually. Likely that they heard, I'm not sure who it was, but I think that Thatcher dropped down off of AC unit. As soon as Remorse heard that drop, they realized, okay, hey, they're going to go for that revive. He just waits for that perfect timing, runs down. He actually got the timing just a little bit late, but they weren't exactly expecting him to jump down like that. So very, very heads-up play coming out from Remorse, able to pick up those 2 frags. And honestly, that's probably what won them the round. And that was a very interesting comment there by Remorse. Do we have to run anti-cheat? Yes, we do have to run Moss. We don't have ESL wire since we are not ESL, but Moss is definitely a requirement there.
Yeah.
Interesting decision there, but anyway, back to what I was saying. They ended up picking up the roamers again. I think that Neptunes on Pulse was able to bait his down teammate on Jaeger out there in waiting room. And so when he realized, hey, they're going to think that we don't have anyone nearby to really try and deny that. And all of a sudden, Gun Havoc goes running in to try to confirm that kill. Then he was able to really punish that over aggression there. And that's honestly, between that and Remorse's jump out, that's probably what led to Lethal's loss of that round. 2 kind of unlucky things, honestly. It really didn't come down to being overall better, but they got 2 very good individual performances there, so that really gave them that round. It wasn't super strong though, but it was enough to grab them the round. So of course this scoreline is now going to be 2-1. We will see the downstairs hold for Lethal. Of course, they will be playing upstairs very aggressively. They don't want to see, there is no fuse, so they don't have to worry about that. There is no Habana, so it is all up to the Thermite to go ahead and get any drops that if they have been reinforced. Interesting to see. only seeing a thermite. Maybe they kind of miscalculated and didn't realize that they were going to be downstairs. I would have definitely liked to have seen like a buck or a fuse coming out. That way they can really more effectively open up the floor. But of course we didn't see that. They quickly get into security, and then they will be pushing on into our armory.
And it looks like Thatcher taking out the bandit tricks there and alerting Throw of their presence. He sends a drone in. He's going to spot him out. They know where Throw is now. And they have taken control of security. Oz is going to be holding out inside of archives right now. They do have that hatch reinforced. They want to deny people from getting up to there and opening that up. Fluffy also roaming. So that's a 3-roamer setup. Chala and Gun are left on site. Gun playing a pulse. An anchor pulse with a couple holes in the ground. Probably going to be able to stop people as they move in upstairs. Achieved opening up a hole through security. Trying to take out those bandit charges. Donut picks off Fluffy. That's 1 roamer down. They're going to start moving in really aggressively towards Armory and Archives now. The Neptune's is sending his drone in. He's going to spot out Oz maybe, and then he's going to spot out Throw. They have the info on Throw, and they do have 2 angles on Throw, so they could push him really aggressively here. Make him focus on one person. However, Oz does have a crossfire set up there, so it might not be the best decision. Achieve peeking in, hoping Throw makes a bad decision. It looks like Throw is recovered to safety. Donut moving in, trying to peek towards Oz. Neptune's picking off Oz. Now they're just going to push in. And Throw gets taken out. He had 3 of them coming after him. He had a hard time there. It is now a 5v2 in favor of Malicious. It looks like Gun and Chala are both going to be playing down on site. Gun knows that the 3 of them are up there. It's got a C4 going up, and he doesn't get anyone with it. He does open up a hole in the floor, ceiling, both the same. Donut gets a couple shots off on the Gun. No real major damage there. They're going to start moving down the stairwell. Gun gets a shot off there with a nice bit of damage on a Donut and some really good intel. Chala just trying to stop them from getting towards the bathroom here. It looks like Sledge is trying to get in there pretty aggressively. Canister coming out, trying to deny that push, buying as much time as they can. There is only 20 seconds left in the round, so that smoke could make the difference. And he picks off Snooper, and he's going to hold tight, throws down the canister, but he doesn't get it. Gun picks off Achieved, but they're going to be putting a lot of gunfire down onto Gun. And they're getting the plant down. Gun very low on health. He's getting shot at by Neptunes. He's got 3 people to worry about here. Donut is right there. He's going to finish Gun off if he tries to peek in through that hole. However, Gun might be able to get the pick on Ash. Remorse, a little bit of a dance coming in over here. And there he goes. Remorse picks off Gun right through the wall. I think he was doing the worm. I would say that was the worm. The bearded worm.
Yeah, I know for sure. That was a very, very solid round for Malicious. That's going to go ahead and tie this game up 2-2. Now, that round coming out of Malicious was huge. You know, very, very good. Go ahead, pushing right on in. They got the bandit off the wall. They were able to open that wall off. They got right in. They did what they needed to do. And all of a sudden, it came down to the site player, and unfortunately, they just weren't able to make the connections with those C4s or through, shooting through the holes in the floor. Unfortunately, Fluffy did die again, you know, right off the start there. I don't think he has a very good track record right now of solo roaming or just roaming in general. I don't know if you could do me a favor and pull up the scoreboard. We can take a look and check in on the players, but for sure, I don't really think that we've been seeing a whole lot. Fluffy, again, you know, 2 and 3 as a solo roamer and stuff like that. I kind of expect to see more out of that. But nonetheless, he did die right off the start of that last round, so that would definitely hurt them. And otherwise, Chala on Blackbeard, definitely interesting to see up with that 5 kills. Nothing out of the crazy there. I think, was it Snooper needs to step it up, going 0 and 3. Remorse on the Smoke Blackbeard combo is going to be at 6 and 3 with a 2.0 KD currently. Operator-wise, you know, same exact loadout we've been seeing from both teams. Nothing too crazy. No Mira, so it should be a little bit weaker of a setup upstairs if they are deciding to hold upstairs. Looks like they have 2 downstairs. Jaeger Achieved is just now rotating up. They do have Donut upstairs and Armory as well, so it could be a 2-person hold. Not exactly sure where the pulse is. He's over in second floor hallway. Could be just going ahead and reinforcing, so we should be seeing a 3-man hold upstairs above the sites. That is a pretty powerful combination situation. But again, just like we saw last round with Lethal trying to hold it, Lethal had a 2-man setup, or even maybe they had a 3-man setup, and Fluffy just died so quick I didn't realize it. So we'll have to see exactly, how does Lethal going to go ahead and attack this? Are they going to learn from how they just got wrecked by it? So are they going to go and try and do the same thing, or is it going to be the same exact flow? And I don't think we're going to see that.
Throw getting a nice early pick onto Remorse, shutting down the smoke, and last round we saw the smoke being really essential. Neptune's trading it off though, picking off Gun. It looks like there's some heavy attacking. Oz picking off Neptune's there. I didn't even see where that kill came from. Fluffy with a beautiful shot onto Achieve there. He didn't even know it hit. I didn't know it hit him. That was a lot of aggression coming in here. Whoa! Donut pushing out, getting a double. He runs into security. Habana picks him off. A lot of aggression in there. It could pay off. However, it is a 1v2. Rook stuck as the anchor on site. Oz opening up the hatches. Chala droning out, making sure they get as much info as they can. Getting those hatches opened up now. Snooper just holding tight. He's just going to sit here and hold tight. And we haven't seen Snooper really kind of arriving this match. But he could make an appearance now. Oz is going to drop in through the hatch. It looks like Snooper heard it. They're going for the plant. Chala is not in position to help with the plant. Oz gets denied the plant. However, he's going to be holding a tight angle. It picks off Snooper and finishes the round.
I think that'll bring Snooper to 0-4 KD. He's definitely not having the greatest game of his life this time. Unfortunately, his team kind of set him up for a hard hold, honestly. A 1v2 situation, especially playing as a Rook, you don't have any smoke grenades to try to, deny some of the angles and some of the routes in. So it's definitely much harder to hold as a Rook, but it is still definitely possible. You can soak in a lot of bullets. Unfortunately, he just kind of got a little bit outplayed there by the fake plant. He was forced to get pushed up and, of course, got taken out. The interesting play there was actually that Thermite was able to take Remorse the smoke out, and Smoke was playing on site, so there's really zero excuse and zero reason why that he got picked off so early. Honestly, if he stayed alive, that would have been a 2-on-2 situation with the smoke with 3 grenades left remaining. That would have been a much better situation for Malicious to be in. So just those tiny little picks here and there can really add up in the long run. And so again, we're seeing them at time and time again. They really just need to clean up these sort of picks. Make sure, hey, just go back to the basics. Make sure you're not doing stupid stuff, because when you start doing stupid stuff, you're going to get punished for it.
Yeah, and it looks like the top floor sites are going to be held again here. Lethal putting a little bit more emphasis on offices this time, possibly. Doing a similar setup to what Malicious had when they shut down Lethal's attack on these sites earlier. We do see Fluffy downstairs roaming. He's in position early. He's going to be boarding a couple things up. Trying to block the attackers from rushing in.
So far, Malicious has been doing pretty good at clearing out the roamers. Again, Fluffy, has died, twice off the start of the round. So I definitely disagree with, him playing by himself. I think he needs to have a little bit more support down there if he's really trying to play underneath. Other than that, Malicious should realize, hey, they play a heavy office. We should definitely be going for the other site. As proven by such a clean attack last time that they were attacking the upstairs. The bombs were downstairs and they were trying to take Armory, which of course they did beautifully. So I would like to see them go for that exact same setup. Go and take security, even though there's a pulse zone that they might not have realized. Just take security, open up box, and just get in the way that you did last time, and make sure you really be careful with your push. Meanwhile, we do have Ash pushing in. I don't think they know where Fluffy the Pulse is, so that could definitely prove as a big disadvantage if they don't realize that he's down there. Could get a free C4 off or two.
Yeah, Fluffy, if he holds tight here, it could be a game about patience for him. If he's patient enough, they might just forget that he was roaming, and they might get caught completely off guard. It looks like he is going to be playing a little bit safe. Oz getting a tight angle here. He might be able to spot Remorse, maybe put some damage in, maybe even pick him off. Habana is opening up that wall into offices. They're going to be trying to flush out Throw. They don't want that mirror window is now gone, so Throw no longer has that advantage that they had before. A flashbang coming in. Throw could be completely blinded by that, but they're going to peek. They're going to be playing really aggressive, getting some damage on Habana. but Throw does get downed. Sledge moves in. He's playing a little aggressive here. He's moving in, getting into offices, making sure they have control of it, making sure that the Mira was the only one in there. Oz is playing inside of Fountain. They still haven't finished off the Mira. That isn't a soft wall, so they aren't able to. Chala spraying at an angle, trying to put a little bit of damage into Neptune's if he can. It looks like all of the attackers might be moving in towards the offices right now. And Fluffy is still floating around downstairs. I mean, he's got Donut on his radar now. He knows where Donut is. Neptune's with the finish on Throw. Achieve takes out Oz. Donut getting picked off by Fluffy, and there it is, that roam, that late roam coming in. And now they kind of have the attackers boxed in. Sledge is going to take out the barbed wires, give him a little bit more mobility there. It is a trade coming. No, Remorse takes out Fluffy. Fluffy downs Remorse, but Remorse is just going to get picked right back up. It is 15 seconds. It's a 2v4. They might have the intel that all of the attackers are right here, but Chala's going to get taken out. There's no smoke there to deny the plant. Gun tries to run in behind. Remorse is ready for it. He finishes him off. And it looks like we are 3v3 now. Or 3-3, I should say. 3 rounds on each team.
I definitely like the change-up coming out from Malicious here. They realized, all right, this is the setup that they're going with, and here's how you counter it. You know, perfect use of the Habana. Go ahead and getting rid of that Mira on in offices in that center little bit there. And so getting that Mira out and really making sure that Mira can't give any more intel and can't hold that down is a huge part of that attack. And making sure that, you know, hey, break down their attacks or break down their defenses and work in. Yes, it was very slow. So I'm not exactly sure, you know, they did take a lot of time doing it. However, it did end up in their favor in the end. I'm not exactly sure where the smoke grenades were in the last couple of seconds there, because they all kind of had to just rush into Archive's door. And I think if there was a smoke on that, that would have definitely have gone in the defender's favor. So they needed to really make sure they regulate their smoke usage. Not too big of a mistake there, because in the end it was a 4v2. So they definitely needed to make sure that they had the routes into the site more covered, because again, 10 seconds left, you know, there's not that much that the attackers can do other than just rush in there. So very predictable stuff there. Surprised that there wasn't any more kills coming out. Those entry fraggers usually get taken out and then get traded back, but we didn't quite see that exactly. So we'll see if they decide to maybe speed up that attack, or if they decide to change the defense so that way they realize, all right, hey, you know, they're starting to, you know, EMP our Mira in office. Let's go and let's put the bandit there. You know, let's get him in the action and try and get keep that Mira in place, because that's kind of the hard point in that offices.
Yeah, the end of that round could have been completely different if different choices were made. We are going into the round. Chala with a nice early pick on a Remorse. A clean headshot there. What an angle. That's going to put the defense at a huge disadvantage there. There's smoke gone really early in the round. A really heavy attack kind of coming in on Armory already. It looks like the attackers are trying to take hold of Armory. They could push into security. Yep, we're going to see Oz pushing into security here. They do have a hole opened up on Armory wall, and that's going to flush some of the defenders out over there. They do have Snooper watching inside of small office there. Neptune's picks off gun, and Chala picks off Snooper, so it is, and Neptune's is really low on health. So it is a 3v4 here. Oz putting it down to a 2v4 by getting a kill unachieved there. Bandit, well, looking for Fluffy here, but Fluffy just has to hold tight. He doesn't have to get aggressive and peek any angles here. They've flushed out small office, and they're really just holding tight here. Donut picks off Fluffy. He's going to be trying to run around outside, maybe. Oz picks off Neptune's. It's now a 1v3 with Donut trying to bring the round back to him, and he gets picked off by Oz. What a shot there. Incredible reaction speeds coming in from Oz, cleaning up the round, finishing it up in favor of Lethal.
I like the adaptation from Lethal. You know, even though they won that last attack round the last time that they were trying to push in, or no, excuse me, no, they did not win it, but they realized, you know, hey, we need to switch it up. Officer's attack didn't quite work out, or maybe didn't work out exactly how we intended. So let's just go and let's flip the sides. You know, let's start attacking from the other direction, and it ended up working out very well for them. You know, they got right in there. You know, they planted the bomb down. They had drones watching the cover. That's why Oz was able to, you know, get such fast reactions, is because they did, of course, have that drone on him. They could call it exactly when he's going to come around the corner. So again, that was a very, very standard season 1 sort of take, or excuse me, season 2 sort of take when the game first came out, or when this map first came out. Excuse me. That's all really people did. No one really knew how to attack through offices, so a lot of people just did what they knew how to do, which is at that point just open up the walls and get right in. So I like to see that back to basics sort of strategy, maybe a little bit of aggression coming in on AC unit, making sure that you can't freely get around the sites. Use that Blackbeard, lock down that site, then push in, and it worked out very well for them. So let's see if there's any adaptation coming out from Malicious to really try and work both sides of the map in terms of defense. Be ready to rotate between an office attack or a security and box attack. Being able to be flexible on your defenses is really a huge key.
Yeah, and it looks like Throw might be putting up a last-second Mira instead of small office. They do have holes opened up inside of office, and there could be a mirror window put up there at some point. Fluffy on the roam again. Solo Romy sitting inside a bathroom right now. We'll see how it works out for him. The attackers are starting to move in. Donut's going to start by opening up that main door there. He's pushing in towards server. There is only one roamer, it looks like. One roamer downstairs. And it is just Fluffy. And Fluffy hasn't been doing too well on these solo roams this map, but we could see it could change for him. There are a couple soft walls there, but he's going to get spotted by a drone. He's going to get picked off by Donut. A nice headshot there, shutting down the roamer really early in the round. It's now 4v5. It is in favor of Malicious. And there is that mirror window there, watching office, watching that wall there. Neptunes is going to be droning out, trying to get as much info as possible. I think Achieved is realizing they do have full control of the bottom floor, so he's going to start moving up. He sees the camera, he shoots it, edges the scaffolding there. But hey, it works. Opening up that door, looks like Donut is going to be moving in around downstairs as well, making sure it is nice and clear. Oz is holding out. He's watching. He's helping Mira out here. He's watching, making sure nobody's pushing in from another angle. Remorse is sitting right there. Oz might have spotted him. They are going to spot the sledge out. Chala getting a kill onto Donut. Oz with a nice headshot on a Neptunes. Really tight angle there. Mira is going to be having a little bit of a gunfight there with Achieve. They're just kind of spraying at each other back and forth. It is wow. It is a 4v3 here in favor of Lethal. The defenders do have the advantage, and Oz spots out the thermite. He's going to be keeping an eye on him. Goes for the shot, then decides, no, it's probably not the best idea. Remorse still holding by the window here. It is a very slow attack round coming in. Mira has kind of been pushed out of her position by that window being opened up by Habana. Remorse is going to be pushing in, and Oz could be the one to get a pick here on someone. Mira runs around the corner. Not sure who it was. It looks like Chala picks off Remorse. Actually, Snooper picks off Throw. That was Snooper's first kill of the match, actually. Snooper got a kill that round. Chala with a headshot onto Snooper. And Gun getting a headshot onto Achieve to finish up the round and finish up the match. Actually, yes. So that is the series. That is 2 out of 3 maps in favor of Lethal.
Yeah, honestly, exact same thing. We've been seeing that attack just took so long to try and get into office. And honestly, when they even got into office, they weren't even ready for all the peaks that were coming in from the site. It was 2 minutes had gone by, and they still hadn't even gotten into office. And Remorse Blackbeard was still sitting outside. So it was really difficult for them to try and get into office. So I needed them to really rotate around into security, into box, and really change it up, because once last round, even though they were able to push in and win, they should have realized, hey, that attack really was kind of sloppy and it really took a long time. So hopefully they learn from it, and they learn to really rotate around more effectively. But other than that, great series by Lethal. They take it 2-0. Honestly, most of it comes down to just experience and how the team honestly works together. Lethal has been together much longer than Malicious, so that is kind of to be expected. That result, that is. Other than that, it was a great series. Do you have anything else to say?
Not too much. There were some really aggressive plays that really impressed me there, like Remorse jumping out on border there, picking off the Blackbeard, and I think it was Thatcher, and a couple of those more aggressive peaks where they were running outside. They were doing something kind of risky, but it paid off a little bit in the end. There was also the bandit that ran outside and got a double kill there, but then ran into security and was immediately traded off by the Habana. But it was overall it was an impressive series in terms of aggressive plays, last second plays. There were a few mistakes that were made by each team that would give the round to the other teams. But it's stuff to learn from, and it'll be interesting to see how these teams both take advantage of the knowledge that they've gained from this matchup and what they do in the future with it.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that's going to be it for us tonight. Hopefully, since now this is the end of week 1, so we'll be able to go ahead and get all the stats together. And starting next week, we should be able to bring up the stats. We can break down each team more individually, each player more individually. So expect to see that coming out from the stats department. Other than that, I've been Talon. This is Crazy, and we will see you all later.